Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's Pick a Pile reading is all about a connection in your life that isn't quite over yet and how this connection will continue. There are 3 piles for you to choose from. From left to right we have piles 1, 2, and then 3. Once you have picked your pile, head to the timestamp for it in the description below. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card shines a clear signal of standing in your own power. Your inner voice, values, and choices carry weight now. It means you're not drifting in this relationship. You're showing up from a place of self-knowledge and integrity. That self-possession creates a new dynamic between you two, as you're no longer shaped by reaction, but by deliberate choice. Because of this, your words and decisions land differently. You speak less often, but with more intention. You set boundaries with clarity rather than impulse. You're essentially saying, I'm here, this is what I believe, and I choose from here. That kind of presence invites the other person to meet you there, or reveals if they'd chosen otherwise. But authority doesn't mean isolation, it means mutual respect. It means holding firm while still being open to dialogue. You're extending trust, but only after you've ensured your own boundaries are respected. That's why this is the strongest foundation for a relationship that wants to continue. This shift won't come from external validation. It's rooted in quiet self-trust. And when you stand in that trust, the story either continues in deeper resonance or draws its most authentic end. Either way, it's better because you're not giving away your power. This card represents the conscious choice to create space and to step back and assess what you're holding, and also what is seeking to evolve. It might look like reduced contact, more personal time, or even a shift in tone. That may feel bittersweet, but it's not disconnection, it's recalibration. You're giving yourself the gift of perspective. Sometimes continuing means pausing first. That separation helps reveal what's truly important, both to you and the connection itself. It's a strategic stepping back more than an emotional withdrawal. As you step back, notice the silence isn't empty. It's full of potential. You're giving feelings room to breathe and judgment space to settle. You're also offering the other person the same opportunity to step forward, step back, or step up. You're not walking away, you're creating an emotional perimeter to allow clarity to emerge. That alone can transform what happens next. This card shows the unspoken truth surfacing. As you've stepped back, things that were hidden, intentions, frustrations, even unmet expectations, are beginning to rise. That's not always comfortable, but it is necessary if the story is to continue honestly. You may notice secrets dissolving, maybe things said in defensiveness or omission, or shifts that happen without explanation. This is your cue to shine light on them. Not to accuse, but to bring clarity. You can say, I noticed this, can we talk about it? That dialogue might be awkward, but it's evolutionary. Speaking those truths brings maturity to the relationship. If the other person meets you with openness, you're entering a new chapter of shared understanding. If not, then you'll know what needs resolution next. This isn't drama, it's deepening. It distinguishes between fleeting romance and evolving connection. Now, we tap into self-reliance and grace. This card shows you no longer depend on the connection for validation. You've reclaimed abundance in your identity, hobbies, community, and emotional life. This detachment isn't cold, it's spacious. It's being okay with who you are, with or without them. That energy is electric to someone ready to step forward. They see your independence and it invites deeper partnership, one where both of you stand in yourself together. If it continues, it will continue because it wants to, not because it needs to. If it doesn't, it ends gracefully. There's no clawing, no desperation. Instead, there's a rich story you both contributed to, and a quieter life you return to with dignity. Your worth isn't tied to this story's next chapter. If it continues, you'll both step into something new. If not, your ground remains steady. This is the release of control, of anxiety, and of rigid expectations. You've loosened your grip on how this should go. You're no longer responding with fear, but with openness. This shift is less about detachment and more about allowing what comes without forcing what doesn't. That doesn't mean you're passive. You're aware, alert, and emotionally awake. but you're also spacious. You might say, I trust where this is heading, and I trust my ability to respond. That kind of ease lets the connection breathe. There's no suffocation or quiet desperation. You're leading with trust, not fear, and that makes it easy for the story to continue if it's meant to, or to conclude kindly if not. This card invites you to acknowledge lingering loss or disappointment, and then choose where you want to focus. It's okay to grieve what changed. You cared deeply, maybe expected it to unfold differently. That emotion is valid, and it means you cared enough to see potential. When you fully feel grief, not avoid it, you free it. Tears don't weaken, they just release. Once it moves through you, you can revisit the story with fresh eyes. Was this meant to linger? Could it still flourish? Or is there a new narrative waiting? The answer becomes clearer not in analysis, but in emotional honesty. And once you've felt what's intended, rather than repressing, you return to possibility without baggage. What emerges is a journey guided by internal integrity, thoughtful space, shared truth, self-worth, openness, and emotional clarity. That's the real evolution of connection. It doesn't just continue, it deepens. It picks up with more awareness, more honesty, and more presence. Whether the story continues or transforms into something new, it does so in alignment with your growth, not your fear. And that's how true chapters, not just endings, come alive. Because this connection isn't over, the story continues, but on your terms and with your full heart leading the way. So that's what I'm getting for pile 1. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card uncovers hidden emotions affecting your connection, whether from you, them, or both of you. Deception and envy aren't always malicious. They can be rooted in misunderstood expectations or unspoken insecurities. The invitation here is to bring covert feelings into the open, so the link can either realign or clearly close. You may notice subtle shifts in tone, irritation that comes from comparison, or a quiet tension not spoken aloud. And sometimes, envy shows up because someone isn't feeling fully seen or valued. Addressing these leaks now can prevent them from cracking the foundation of what's still real. This is your opportunity to invite transparency. Ask gentle questions like, are we still on the same page? Or, what are you feeling when things feel off? Opening that path encourages honesty, and where unspoken feelings can be aired safely, not judged. Even if it stings, this act carries integrity. Repair begins with revealing what's hidden. This card highlights power dynamics turned upside down. When the Emperor falls, it often reveals where authority is misused or misaligned. Someone might be clinging too tightly, exercising control disguised as care, or pulling away and leaving the other unsupported. In your continued connection, consider whether either of you has been overbearing or neglectful, intentionally or not. That mix of control and distance often flows from fear, and it undermines relational trust. This isn't a blame card, it's a prompt to unearth patterns. Ask things like, are we still trusting each other, or trying to direct where this goes? The healthiest next step is a balance of clarity and flexibility, with attentions agreed on, not enforced. Fixing these dynamics could shift everything, or reveal that the relationship needs a different direction. This card speaks of possibility and of distraction. It can indicate wandering thoughts or idealized ideas about what the connection could be. Dreaming in this space can energize or trap you, depending on the perspective. If you're projecting visions of perfect outcomes, watch that impulse. It can pull you away from real connection. But if you're exploring options together and speaking about what's possible while staying grounded, that's a sign you're in evolution, not illusion. You might want to clarify what dreams you both share. Which path feels realistic? Which feel like scenic fantasies? Shared vision supports continued connection. Imagined scenarios feed illusions. Listening and mapping what each of you wants now builds clarity and cohesion, or exposes gaps. Here comes the shakeup. The tower shows the arrival of truth that shatters illusions or unsafe foundations. As your connection continues, you may hit a moment of stark clarity, something disruptive, unexpected, or highly revealing. It might be a moment when defenses drop or old tensions erupt, showing what was stacked on sand. You could finally say something you couldn't before, or witness a reaction that reveals something deeper. This moment isn't punitive, it's purifying. When structure collapses, clarity rises. What remains after that collapse has real footing. If the connection is meant to continue, it'll stand on that solid ground reality, not an illusion. Brace for the shake, but know that breakthrough often begins with rupture. After the storm, here's a test of resilience. The Nine of Cups reversed shows disillusionment, perhaps sadness that things aren't perfect, even if they're honest. Maybe you hoped the connection would feel like wish fulfillment, and it doesn't, not yet. This card reminds you that perfection wasn't the point, commitment was. You may feel let down, but ask yourself, is this disappointment rooted in an unmet fantasy or real misalignment? Answer from presence, not expectation. If honesty remains, gratitude grows for what's learned. If not, this card empowers you to recognize when enough is enough and to walk toward peace rather than staying for comfort. Either way, keep your focus on growing clarity, not forced happiness. This final card brings a nurturing energy grounded in stability. The Queen of Pentacles shows the potential to rebuild tender care and practical warmth, either with each other or within yourself as you decide the path forward. If the connection continues, imagine steady, rich support. This could be daily gestures, reliability, and thoughtful care. If it doesn't, this card invites self-care, tending to yourself with the gentleness and consistency you'd offer someone you love. This is your pivot point. Hard truths met, illusions cleared, and now grounded choices emerge. Whether you re-navigate together or choose separate paths, it's done from a place of rich awareness and not desperation. This reading reveals a journey that's anything but static. There's hidden emotion, misused authority, fantasies, ruptures, and disillusionment. But following that upheaval comes a choice, to rebuild thoughtfully or to release intentionally. If the story continues, it does so with emotional honesty, structural clarity, and grounded care. If it ends here, it closes with dignity and self-nurture, not heartache. And either way, this connection isn't over. Its story continues, but in a form that matches the truth now present. So that's what I'm getting for pile 2. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello pile 3, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card grounds the energy in a necessary pause. Rest and rejuvenate isn't indulgence, it's strategic recovery. The ongoing story between you isn't over merely because it's taken a quieter turn. Sometimes connection deepens when you're given your emotional batteries a chance to recharge. Taking time to rest does more than soothe. It recalibrates your heart and mind. If tension or burnout has been influencing your interactions, stepping back to care for yourself benefits both of you, even if the other doesn't know you're doing it. It's like oiling the wheels before they grind down. This phase invites self-kindness, a slower pace, gentler routines, and a space for reflection. Ask yourself, what does calm feel like for me? When you answer that, you make it easier to return to the connection with clarity and not chaos. Remember, absence doesn't equal closure. Sometimes it sets the stage for the next act, one that's richer, clearer, and more intentional. This card brings the message, steady presence matters most. In relationships that continue, it's often small, consistent gestures, not grand one-offs, that sustain trust and intimacy. The Knight of Pentacles reminds you that reliability is the currency of connection. When you follow through, even in subtle ways like prompt replies, small check-ins, or remembering shared details, you're saying, this relationship matters. Your consistency speaks volumes, even when you're resting. It sets the tone of safety and quiet devotion. If the story resumes, you'll find your consistent actions begin to build momentum again. If it doesn't continue, at least you'll know you contributed with respect, not drama. This is your inner steady flame, allowed to burn quietly now, but ready to rekindle when the timing calls. Here, we see a caution against rushing back too soon or without thinking. When the Fool is upright, it brings new beginnings, but reversed, it warns against childish impulsivity or repeating past mistakes. After a period of rest, it's tempting to take playful leaps, but be sure they're still grounded. You may feel ready to jump back in with enthusiasm or hopeful expectation, but pause before acting on these impulses. Remember what didn't land well before. Learn from the last round before you start again. That doesn't mean resisting the chance to reconnect. It means reconnecting with awareness. Ask yourself, what feels safe to explore now? What boundaries matter? That kind of clarity protects your emotional well-being and preserves the connection's integrity. A thoughtful re-entry ensures the next phase unfolds with trust, not unhealed triggers. This one is your reward: clarity, warmth, and authentic joy. The Sun is a sign that after rest and recalibration, you'll find radiant energy returning, either in your conversations, the emotional tone, or shared laughter. It's a beautiful mind space of us, less composed of tension and more composed of genuine light. Your inner healing will begin to reflect outward. Maybe important truths are finally spoken, maybe small rituals return. This could be shared coffee chats, inside jokes, sending memes, being seen without an agenda. The sun shines on what is real, honest, and mutually uplifting. It's a moment of recognition. This is good. This feels right. Whether it leads to deeper connection or spacious resolution, it will feel nourishing rather than fraught. This is what restoration looks like in action, and why it matters. This card signals the rest phase closing. With Four of Swords reversed, you're moving out of retreat. The silence has served you, or served you both, and now you're edging back into the social or relational flow. There's clarity here, and there's readiness, but it's not an all-out return. It's a gentle reemergence. Like surfaces waking under early morning light, you ease back into conversation. You're rested, wiser, and more present, not hollow or reactive. That difference will shape how the connection continues. You'll bring mindfulness, not momentum. You'll speak because you're grounded, not because you need reassurance. This is hopeful transition. Welcome back, wisely. Finally, this card speaks to clear communication. Page of Swords brings curiosity, gentle inquiry, tact, and emotional presence. After stepping back and returning, this energy invites you to ask questions, express curiosities, and clarify the new tone. You might say, I've taken some time and I feel ready to check on how you're doing, or even ask, how did that time out feel for you? Authentic curiosity fosters reconnection, letting both of you understand how to move forward together, whether as lovers, friends, or collaborators. This card reminds you communication isn't a one-way stream. It's responsive, thoughtful, genuine, and ongoing. And when you engage that way, boundaries are honored, expectations are clarified, and connection can continue in newfound equilibrium. This path is a story arc of rest, renewal, readiness, and reconnection. You're not disappearing, you're self-nurturing. Then you return steadily, not impulsively, with ground and awareness, ushered by warmth and clear curiosity. If this connection isn't over, it isn't closing, it's continuing in a more aligned, considerate, and sustainable way, and you're stepping back into it, refreshed, empowered, and authentically ready. So that's what I'm getting for pile 3. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time.